Congratulations. So you got yourself LinkedIn Sales Navigator and you have no idea where to start. If that's the case, this video is right for you. My name is Artem and I help companies and agencies get their dream clients using LinkedIn. So in this video, I'm going to drive you through LinkedIn really quick and show you some basic functionalities using a fairly specific example. So you will learn a lot quicker this way. So I'm starting off in my LinkedIn profile here, and I'm going to first access the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I presume that you yourself got a LinkedIn Sales Navigator core. So this is the most basic version of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. However, there's also an advanced version which I'm using. So it's a little bit, it has a bit more functionality, but for 90% of all needs, you really need just LinkedIn Sales Navigator core version. So once you're inside, like LinkedIn has all of these like different, basically it's like a dashboard, right? With all of these things. To be honest, I use LinkedIn all the time and I've never really paid attention to any of these different settings or anything. So I just skip right to them because all I need LinkedIn for is to find my ideal target audience, my ideal clients, my leads and prospects, and etc etc. To go into this area where to find all of these potential clients that you got, you need to click to the search box, and then I usually click enter, so I get this page right away. So it's got all these different filters, and you can click here, see all filters, to get access to all the filters that LinkedIn offers. Again, I'm using LinkedIn Sales Navigator Advanced, so my panel here might be slightly different than what you're seeing. So for example, you will not be able to see this account has buyer intent mm, button, pretty much. Yeah, switch. In all honesty, it's not very handy because it doesn't really show much information. So don't think that you're losing out too much. So once you're here, you're essentially, you've got two options. So this one is lead tab and this one is the account tab. So account is basically LinkedIn's way of calling this, like, essentially it's companies, right? So these are people and these are companies. So not lead and account, people and companies. So generally speaking, you can start searching for the prospect right from this tab, from the leads. But I don't really like this way because it's just the way LinkedIn works. It's just the filters, when you try to give it like a current job title, it will start showing you the job titles all these different people have at the same moment in time, so that it might not be really useful for you. So instead of searching for for people first, I like searching for companies first. So I go directly to the account tab, and then I click see all filters. And then you can see that there's a bunch of different options here, and I can start right away of searching for my decision makers. And you can really pick, there's a bunch of different filters, but I really like the most basic ones, which is the headquarters location. And you can pick all sorts of different areas, including like almost entire continents like North America, or you can pick individual countries like, say, United States, United Kingdom, and so on and so forth. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to pick United States. Then, for example, I'm looking for agencies. So my ideal target audience is agencies. So now I'm going to say that I'm looking for industry, and they're kind of like in marketing. So I'm going to type in marketing services and going to include that. And right away, I already have a bunch of different companies that operate in this specific industry. I've got more than 24,000 different results. These are companies, these are not people. So then I can further trim this down to, say, annual revenue. So LinkedIn has a nice feature where it shows you the annual revenue of the company. However, you have to be careful with this because it's not really 100% accurate, because it's basically shown that every company is making anywhere between half a million to a million every single year, which is definitely not the case. So it probably gets a little bit more accurate once you start going in higher ranges, because then this data becomes more accessible. Yeah, because once the company starts making more money, it's kind of easier to track it down, opposed to a company that only makes a couple of couple of grand here and there. So that filter is not really good for when you're searching for companies with lower kind of revenue levels. However, it can still work with the companies that have higher revenue levels. What you can look as well, which I really like, is the company headcount. Yeah, this is a really good way of kind of predicting where you can search, where you can find your ideal kind of customers. um, so for example, you only want to work with companies that are like 11 to 50. Yeah, so once I pick this, I only have like 1000 companies that fit all of these characteristics: 11 to 50, United States, marketing services. Yeah, so these are all these companies that are located here. So I can also look at the number of followers, because this is a good kind of proxy to show you when the company kind of how long has been out there for, because the longer it's been out there for, the longest page been out there on LinkedIn, the more followers it has. Department headcount, I never really use that one really, because mine is pretty small. Department headcount growth, again, you can predict certain aspects of this. If you can see that the company's department is growing at a certain speed, you can probably kind of make some assumptions about this company and use that to your advantage. And then you can of course pick the companies that are within the different Fortune 500 list. Pretty much, yeah, doesn't apply to me in this case. And yeah, job opportunities. So yeah, it shows you the companies that are hiring on LinkedIn, which is pretty powerful way of seeing whether the company is financially, if it's advancing, if it's hiring, it means their business is booming. That's actually a pretty good filter. Then recent activities. So if there were any like leadership changes or any funding events, that can be particularly useful um, for anybody looking for startups, for example. Or if you are looking for senior leadership changes, sometimes it's easier to pitch your service to anybody who's just moved into the new position, because they kind of want to stand out and show their boss that they've been a good hire. That you want to show some really good attitude. Here you can also filter out anybody who's your first degree connection. So if first degree connection is basically people I know, so people I'm literally connected to on LinkedIn. The buyer intent, yeah, let's see yeah, see, it doesn't really work, so I'm not even using it that much. So companies in CRM doesn't apply to us. Saved accounts and account lists. This is something that you will be using if you save this specific search. For example, I can save all these guys, save to a list, and then that would be saved into an account list that I can use afterwards if I so choose to do. So now you've got this list of companies. So you've got 1,000 companies of this size and located in this place and then doing this thing. By the way, a little note about the industry as well. So sometimes, for example, if you're looking for a SaaS company that operates in human resource industry niche, they can actually be in two separate industries. They can choose to be in software development type of a niche. I'm just going to show you software development, and they can also be at the same time in human resource services. Okay, so think about, like, if your company is doing something similar like that, if they can belong to two different areas, yeah, in two different industries, pick both of these industries, because you never know how whoever created their LinkedIn page, how they kind of decided which category they would fly to, that would belong to. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now you've got these companies. Okay, now I've got this 25 companies selected. What do I do next? Well, I need to find their decision makers. Okay, so to find their decision makers, I'm going to click select all button, and then I'm going to click view current employees. I'm going to do it while holding the control button in my case, and if you're on Mac, you have to use the command button to open up a separate tab. The way I'm doing this is because LinkedIn, the way it works, if I was to click this thing, go through all the people profiles there, and you will see that in a moment, and then to go back here to check out the other 25 contacts, yeah, it will not have the same filter saved, and it will all have it all like jinxed up and everything. So I recommend you kind of have this seed page opened up all the time, and then just open up the separate tabs every time you wish to go through the companies. Now, why the hell are we picking like 25 companies at the time? Why not just go and check them all out at the same time? Well, because again, and that's the way LinkedIn works, it's much easier to go one company after the other, because that way you will be able to pinpoint exactly how, like, the decision makers that you're searching within every single company. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So now we've got all these companies picked up. We don't need to choose the company headcount because we've already picked it previously. So we know that these companies, all of them, they fall in 11 to 50 company headcount um, interval here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to unselect, basically exclude all the companies, but the first one from the list. So to basically see all the employees that work in this specific company. And you will see why I'm doing this in a moment. So now I've got them all cleared out, and as you can see, I've got 48 results. So these are 48 employees that work in this specific Emma by Marigold company. Okay, what you do next, because you're looking to find the decision maker, you actually go down here and you don't use the current job title, because that's what people actually fall into. Because if you were to choose the current job title, suppose I'm going to type like something to do with marketing. So see how they all have Emma here. Yeah, so it means that they all belong to the same company. So Emma, Emma, Emma. And okay, this is not going to disappear for now. But anyway, so suppose I'm going to type in marketing specialist and click it here. It's not even showing me anybody. They don't have any marketing specialists. But okay, I will not be able to show this now, but the idea is that if you pick the current job title here, what will happen is that LinkedIn is going to show you these people, even if they have this given the selected job title, even if they work in a different company, LinkedIn will show you that, and it will show you the different company. So it automatically becomes absolutely useless, because you obviously want to have the decision maker from this company. So you want LinkedIn to only show you the guys from the same from this company with a specific job function. And to do this, you need to go to the seniority level, yeah, and click here. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pick all the decision makers that are possible. So in case with companies 11 to 50, you're most likely to work with the owner, partner, founder, co-founder type of thing, and maybe like anybody C-level if they got anybody. So yeah, that's what is going to happen. I'm going to hit the refresh button real quick, because I'm really disliking this thing that it's stuck up there. So now we've got these two guys, yeah. And if you have a bigger company, by the way, if we're dealing with anybody who's like 51 to 200 or even over that, you would actually go and pick the senior positions. And in this case, I actually might look into the senior positions as well, in order to find the person or more than one person that are most likely to be the decision makers. Okay, so now in this case, I've got a whole bunch of different people located in a whole bunch of different places. So suppose that I want to get in touch with a marketing person. So now I go to the search keywords, and sometimes I can see it right away. I can see it right away sometimes. Like if I have a CMO or I have a senior marketing director, I know that they're the right person for me to go to. But in this case, I don't see anybody right away, or I have a list that is too long. I can quickly click marketing, and then I've got this guy. So what this search box does is that it basically shows all the profiles that contain the word marketing in them. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, because they might have mentioned marketing somewhere, or somebody else mentioned marketing on their profile, whatever. So in this case, like he's mentioned marketing here, so and email marketing, online marketing and email marketing. He's a front-end developer. So when it comes to, like in my case, I'm not sure that this is a really good person for the decision making, yeah, because he's a front-end developer, and I mean no disrespect, but he's less likely to make any decisions if I was to sell him the service. So in this case, I'm actually not seeing anybody who could be potentially great, except maybe for this person, John Newman, senior manager. So he might be the right person for this. So let's assume that he is actually a good fit, and I'm going to do the following thing right now. I'm going to click on his name inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And then I'm actually going to not see anything because he's only got a few connections, and LinkedIn is not showing me his profile. That can happen. So let's try this guy instead. Okay, that's a little better. So LinkedIn is opening up this little kind of sidebar at the side, and I cannot move my video, unfortunately, so you have to enjoy my beautiful face. So now what you do is you can, of course, click three dots here and click connect. But what ends up happening is that you actually connect to this person. You send them the connection request from inside LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is essentially like a shadow version of free standard LinkedIn account that you got. So what ends up happening is that if you decide to cancel your LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you will kind of lose this connection, because if he accepts, if he accepts your connection request, you will become connections, but on the inside of LinkedIn, which is kind of not really nice, because you want to be connected to the guy no matter what you do. If you cancel your connection, if you cancel your LinkedIn Sales Navigator, if you keep it, you still want to be connected with them. Okay, so in order to kind of fight through this, then what you do is you click their profile name. LinkedIn opens up the sidebar, and then you click these three dots right here, and then you've got this little kind of menu that shows up, and you've got this view LinkedIn profile link here. So you click on it, and it basically opens up their LinkedIn profile without any link, without any sort of Sales Navigator realm to it. So, and I'll show you what the difference is. So this is the LinkedIn Sales Navigator profile of this same person. Yeah, so you can see it looks kind of similar. Yeah, looks kind of similar, but it's kind of different at the same time. Okay, so this is the standard LinkedIn account. This is the Sales Navigator account. So now, once you kind of open up his profile, and what I like doing is that I actually like to connect to one, two, or three people from the same company, because it gets so much easier to get on their radar. Because if one person doesn't accept, well, the other one can, and then if all of them accept, you can all start kind of communicating to each other. So it becomes a lot easier for you to kind of get on their radar and actually sell your thing eventually. So let's suppose I actually want to connect with Donna as well. So I'm doing the same thing, three dots, view LinkedIn profile. And again, when I click view LinkedIn profile, I hold the control button, yeah, so that I open it up in a separate one. So now let's assume I've got them all out. So I've got my two decision makers from this one company. So now what I do next is I actually switch to the next company. So I exclude this first company and I include this second one, if I can. Yeah, there we go. So now, again, I've got the list of 31 results, and then I'm looking through them right away, and I can see that there is a senior marketing and demand generation manager, which is perfect for my target audience. So I click on his name, I open up the sidebar, and then I get it loaded. And again, I can also look into marketing account manager. So I can also connect to this guy and do the same thing, view LinkedIn profile. And then I repeat the entire process. So as you can imagine, it's fairly tedious process. Once you're starting out, I highly recommend you do it yourself, so you can understand how it works on your end, because your use case might be fairly different to what I use it for. So you have to kind of develop your own system. And once you have your own system, well, you can definitely hire somebody who can do it for you, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of repetitive, monotonous work, and all you need to do is really train your VA to kind of be able to carefully, to pick the right target audience, the decision makers from those lists. Okay, so now we are back at it right now. So what happens next is that once you go through this list, you've got all these wonderful people. Yeah, you've got all this amazing profiles. So now you want to connect to them all. So what you do is as follows. There are like a few kind of schools of thought when it comes to connection and outreach. So there are a few ways to do that. So the first one, the easiest one, is then you simply click connection request and send the connection request, and that's kind of it. That is the easiest one, and based on my experience, stuff like this can convert at 11 to like 20%. Okay, which is pretty high to be honest. Given the amount of effort you need to put into it, it's very good conversion rate. Especially if your profile is nice and clean, if it's if it looks quality, if it doesn't seem like you're gonna sell them something right away, they might be accepting your connection request pretty easily. Then if they are more or less active on LinkedIn, and I'm trying to find anybody who opened up to be more or less active, but they aren't. I'm going to show you that right now because we'll probably find somebody. Yeah, there we go. 2 recent posts on LinkedIn. So if they're more or less active on LinkedIn, what you can do, and I recommend doing this because it kind of increases the chances you will convert to the person, is that especially if they've been active for the past 1, 2, 3 weeks, that is ideal. You go and you quickly leave a comment. Yeah, so you leave a quick comment and tag them in this because she clearly works in this company, otherwise she wouldn't be reposting this. And you can say, oh yeah, great share, and tag them in this specific comment. Great share. Sometimes it works funny the way the sharing feature works. So you actually need to start typing their name. Once you start typing their name, LinkedIn kind of starts showing it to you at some stage. Yeah, there we go. So you tag her there, and ideally, you kind of want to make it a little bit more personal to show them that you actually read the share, and then maybe ask a question. Yeah. So ready to witness the difference? Schedule a demo today. You can quickly check it out, comment on their changes they've done, maybe tag the company as well because it can help, and so on and so forth. And once you post that comment, all you do is then you go to their profile. Yeah. You go to their profile and send the connection request. Yeah. And you can also add a short note, personalized note, where you say, oh yeah, it's a nice repost or something, so that you can show that you actually checked out their comment, etc., etc. Stuff like this definitely increases the conversion rates, but it takes a lot more time to do as well. Now, last but not least, you can just, if they're not active on LinkedIn, yeah, all you can do is you can actually check out their about section if they have it. Yeah, and if there's something you can take out, you can just, again, use a personalized note to send a connection request, add a note here, and then that can help you with the conversion rates. However, again, it increases the conversion rates, especially if the note is good. It doesn't always do this. It really depends on your market, depends on your audience, depends on your profile, everything. Yeah. So cultural aspects, tons of variables there. However, it can work pretty well. So, however, it takes a lot of time. Yeah. So my strategy for now is reach out to everybody without any form of personalization. Yeah. Let them accept your connection request at 11 to 20%, and then give them another week. Yeah. So I'll maybe have like 1 week of that happening. And then if they do not accept your connection request, then you withdraw the connection request and come back to them in like 3 weeks, because this is the minimum amount of time LinkedIn needs you to kind of stop annoying them for. Yeah. And in 3 weeks, you can send the connection request once again, and then you can kind of personalize that, so that way you kind of weed out anybody who doesn't need a connection request to connect with you. And then you also only follow up with the people that are, that are a little bit more looking for a more kind of personal touch. Again, important. So a lot of people do not actually visit their LinkedIn profiles for a long time. Yeah. So it's not unheard of. Yeah. So sometimes they wouldn't accept your connection request no matter what you do, and that is totally fine. So that's pretty much it. So guys, back to this Sales Navigator thing. That's pretty much it. That is the main functionality that Sales Navigator has. Yeah, finding the people, the decision makers that you need to get in touch with. And it's really, really powerful. Of course, there are other aspects of this tool, but as I said, there are like core features, and I've shown them to you. I hope this video serves you well. If you found this useful, please hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, reach out to me on LinkedIn if you need any help with setting up your B2B sales or filling up your agency with clients. Let me know. I'll be there to help you out. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.